One of the most powerful quotes that's been getting us through this whole COVID crisis is the whole conversation that you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Let's have a look about what we're seeing around the world right now. In the United States, we're actually seeing the highest volume of transactions in established and new residential properties that they've seen since 1994. In the UAE, we're actually seeing price growth for the first time in 10 years. In the UK, this is the best set of market conditions that they've witnessed since the beginning of Brexit 5 years ago. What we're seeing in New Zealand is that 35% more houses are being sold that are currently being listed, and they've got record listing volumes. And here in Australia, we're actually in a position that we are on the footings of what is going to be one of the greatest booms in real estate history. It's really important to understand what's driving all of this. People can't do anything else. Luxury car sales are up, Bunnings sales are up, Dan Murphy sales are up, and residential sales are also going to be in a position that we're going to start to see an improve in volume. What we actually have seen in the Sydney marketplace is that as we've started to continue throughout the year and to move into that traditional spring period, there's been more auctions and clearance rates have been holding strong. This should give you an indication that people can't really do anything else. You can't have that holiday overseas. You can't really even travel interstate. And so from that point of view, people are saying, you know what, I'm just going to maybe go and change the existing house I'm already living in. This is at the footings of actually changing what's happening in the way that Australians perceive real estate. One of the important things to note is that housing affordability is actually on the improve. Why is that? Well, people aren't in a position that they're spending their money like they used to. They're now actually saving more money than they ever have. They're getting lots of government handouts around things like JobKeeper, which is actually putting more money in the bank than they've ever had before. This is improving the balance sheet, which is giving more capabilities for people to be able to get out there and to go and spend more money. What's actually also happening, which no one's really talking about, is that we're in a position that this particular crisis is not like the GFC. The GFC was all about the conversation that it was access to credit. So if you went to the bank and said, hey, I want to borrow $1 million, the bank would say to you, we don't have $1 million to lend. Whereas in this particular crisis, it's an income crisis. So if you go to the bank and say, hey, by the way, I need to borrow $1 million, they'll say, do you have income to pay for it? You're like, yeah, I do. And if you can show that you've actually been able to produce income during the COVID era, there's no problems with them being able to give you a loan. In fact, the Reserve Bank of Australia came out recently, basically gave the banks close to $200 billion to be able to lend out to Australian consumers. And at this point, they've only lent out $56 billion. So there's effectively another $150 billion or so that they're in a position that they can go to lend to consumers to be able to go and buy products, goods, and services. This is a great opportunity for the real estate industry. You probably don't even realize it, but this is the best set of market conditions that you've ever been in. You need to be chasing great sellers. You need to be chasing buyers. You need to be understanding that today's consumer is 100% discretionary. A lot of people that are aspirationally looking for the right home. And if they find the right home, then they're in a position that they've got something for you to sell. So the number one thing to chase on the inside of your business is what we're going to call buyers, sellers. That are those people that are in a position that if you find them something to buy, then they will sell with you. Get ready for the conditions. Learn how to serve. Make sure that you adapt and put yourself in the best set of conditions to be able to produce the results that you're capable of. Really hope you've enjoyed our coaching tip. We look forward to seeing you next time.